Yeah, born winner. Yeah. I was born to win. 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 And if you feeling like I do, let me hear you say it again. Everything I earned, you know I got it out the mud. I was that diamond in the rough. All right, good afternoon to all of our listeners and viewers. Welcome to our first episode of Life After Prison. This is a Team Omac Productions, and I will be your host today, G.O. Gibson. And joining me today, right here on this Black Friday, I got 5 kings sitting to my right and to my left, man. I'm including myself, so that makes 6. So today, we're gonna be having some real raw conversations. We all have a lot in common. We've either been to prison, we've either sold drugs, we're in organized crime, gang life in the streets, etc. Without glorifying that, we will be having a discussion about how we were able to change our lives around. So joining me today, I have to my right is Mr. Tony Moore. I got Ernest Gwinn. I got Alfonzo Spencer, Pastor Johnny Ford, and JIMET Gibson. All right. So I want to open it up with Mr. Moore to my right. Can you tell our listeners and viewers who you are?
First of all, I'm glad to be here and thank you for inviting me. It's an honor. The one thing that I think that I like to say who I am today
Yes, sir.
is a child of God.
Amen.
Amen.
That gave me the springboard to be everything I am as a man today. As being a father, husband, community leader, community activist, all the good things that basketball coach, things that I've been able to do in my life. It's just awesome that God gave me this opportunity to have a second chance.
Okay. Amen.
Hey, my name is Ernest Gwinn. Man, I'm a person that been through a whole lot, learned from it, leaned on God and found out how powerful He is.
All right.
And I'm still standing today.
Yeah.
Been through. I don't look like what I've been through.
All right.
But I've been through it.
Perfect.
That's it.
My name is Alfonzo Spencer. I like to consider myself today as a vessel of the Most High, and a messenger for his message to humanity, and that's who I am today. That's who I am today.
Amen. Good afternoon. My name is Johnny Ford, lifelong racing resident, pastor of John 3:16 Ministries, also Gio's pastor.
Amen.
Amen. And I'm just thankful to be here today.
My name is JP. I want to thank you for this opportunity for coming on your show. I'm a developer, a father, a man trying to become a better man each day, chasing perfection even though I can never be perfect. And again, thank you for the opportunity, God-fearing, and blessings.
Okay. So a lot of our young kings that are sitting to my right and left, we are successful men. I would consider myself also a messenger, somebody that is thankful and grateful for where I'm at today, stemming from going through a lot out there in our communities and whatnot. So what I want to talk about now is what do you do for a living? Of course, again, this is life after prison. But of course, according to society, once you are labeled as a criminal or whatnot, we're always a criminal. We're here to dispute all that, because I'm sitting in front of a lot of changed men right before my very eyes, man. A lot of these men right here inspired me to be the man that I am. So I thank every last one of you. So what do you do for a living? What is something that you can share with our audience and viewers on what you do? I'll start with JP.
Well, I'm a developer. Actually, it's funny because one of my mentors in the journey, Ernest, I took a chapter out of his book, basically rehabbing homes, majority targeting what they call the ghetto, minority neighborhoods, fixing them up, giving modern looks to them. You know, the whole Chicago skyline look from where we're from, Waukegan, North Chicago area, just bring comfortability. I got into truck driving. I got an 18-wheeler. I got a driver who's my brother, cross country. These are some of the things that I wanted to get out from the old lifestyle, from narcotics, to not end up in prison for the rest of my life or taking somebody's life or my life being taken. So this is what I become today. I give back turkey drive, book back drives from all that I took from the community. And last but not least, I put God first.
Amen. Okay, so with June.
What I do for a living is I run this gym in this community. Like I said, I'm a vessel. I feel like I'm a vessel for health and wellness, which is, for me, that's the greatest wealth that a man or a woman or a human being should be able to, should be searching to obtain. I believe that everything starts there. Also, I'm a mentor to all the young ones here, even some of the older ones here. Been this gym, me and this gym, I've been kicked out of this gym for going through financial struggles, not being able to pay my membership at one time. So what I do is I allow the youth, if they struggling, to let their parents call me and let them know when they can pay me. Right. Something that I don't do. So that's the first time people are gonna hear that I do that. Another thing that's happened to me, I had my car towed from in front of here while it was jam-packed.
Right.
Again, financial struggles. So I understand that. So everything here is affordable. We beat out Amazon prices. I beat out GNC prices to make things in this area affordable. I believe that your biggest flex is your fitness. And so that I'm here to be able to, like I said, be a vessel for people to be able to find themselves through that.
So you were kicked out this gym, but now you own this gym.
Man, 180, man.
Come on now.
Won't he do it? Hey, won't he do it, man?
Man.
Won't he do it, man?
Kicked him out, but now he owns that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you can turn the tables, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
You're looking at one right now.
Absolutely.
Thanks for sharing that, brother. Pastor Ford, what do you do for a living?
Well, 29 years I worked for Racine Unified School District. Did 19 years right across the street over there at Horley. I'm currently at Gerstad. This is my 4th year at Gerstad, and I did 6 years at Mitchell. So since my deliverance from the streets, everything that I did been based around mentoring kids, helping kids. I worked at community centers. I worked at the Dr. John Bryant Center, a variety of group homes, and I just feel, I know that's my calling.
Amen.
Is to help these kids, because when you do a job that you would do for free, it ain't a job no more. So it's work, but it's work for the Lord.
Yeah.
So that's what I do.
Yeah. So as you can see, so far we got business owners, we got mentors. We're gonna go ahead and switch it over here to Eugene G. Boi Gwinn. Tell the world, what are you doing today?
Today, I'm the founder and CEO of Boi Entertainment. I produce concerts, comedy shows, parties. You know, that's what I'm doing. Also work 2 jobs. I work at a hospital. During the day, I do building maintenance. And at night, I move trucks for like Uline. I move trucks around. So I'm a spotter. So I do that. I'm also the father of 17 children. And I have 12 biological daughters and 5 biological sons. And yeah, you know, I mentor them. You know, a lot of my kids are extremely successful. I've been out of there. I got took out of their life for 20 years and 6 months. But I was able to maintain relationship with most of them, 11 of them throughout, you know, that time. And yeah, I mean, I came home. I'm getting it together, man. I got, you know, my own place. You know, I'm just trying to find my way again. You know, I did a lot of stuff before I left. And it's like I went in there and I call it college, you know, because I got to study everything that I had already done. But now I know how to do it on paper and I got certifications for it. So, you know, I'm just trying to apply that now. And, you know, that's what I'm on. Yeah.
Amazing. Let's go with Mr. Moore.
Oh, man. it's hard to even talk about that because,
You got a million hats.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
God has been so good. And when I talk about the things that he allowed me to do, being a professional basketball coach, owner, opening 3 clinics, substance abuse, mental health, working in the jail, just being an author, and just all the things that God has allowed me to do today is just overwhelming sometimes that I'm the one that God allowed to do that. And it's almost frightening how easy it is. Because as Pastor said, when you call, God makes a way before there is any obstacles in your way. And even the obstacles, I've learned the obstacles are the character building to do the next thing in preparation for whatever it is to do. So I'm so blessed to be able to be, my one thing I was telling the pastor about is I'm a Sunday school teacher, and I never thought I would be a Sunday school teacher. But I asked God to give me a platform to learn how to speak better to people. So guess what he did? Put me on the review team where I got to review every day, every Sunday. So now I'm in front of a lot of people. And when you pray for something, and if you're obedient and disciplined, consistent, God gives you those things.
Amen.
And of course, myself, I'm a violence prevention intervention specialist in Lexington, Kentucky. I am currently the founder and executive director of Operation Making a Change, which is a program that God gave me a vision sitting in prison. So that's what I do today, mentoring, a lot of public speaking or whatnot. But again, I've learned something from probably every last one of you sitting here right now. So this is all meant to be right here. And as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we are sitting here with different beliefs and religion, but that's not a factor. What's powerful, I think you said something to me the other day, Alfonzo, and you said something in reference of, we don't always have to, continue to rub that in people's faces about, you know what I'm saying? Can you repeat that?
Yeah, so me and Brother Gerald was having a conversation on the phone, which we have often. And it was just on me because we just did a turkey drive recently, gave out 65 turkeys, 65 families, which was a blessing. Had my family here to help out to see that. And I was just telling Gio on the phone, I said, man, when we talk to people, some people, you know how they push like religion and politics on people. I said, man, listen, I just want to do his work. I said, man, I don't care if you Christian, whatever you is, that don't matter. Because I'm going to look at you for who you are anyway, right? I said, so I'm not saying take that out, but I'm saying I believe that we've been able to get so much further, not even having to look at that. Because what he represent, he a whole man to me. So I look at him, man, that's how I greet him. On my 10 toes, I greet him with the utmost respect. And I said, man, somebody asked you what happened. Somebody came to the counter and they was like, oh, I'm religious too, this and this. I said, brother, listen, stop them right there. I said, we don't even need to go into that. I said, bro, I love humanity as a whole. I said, so you ain't got to go through, we can name him whatever you want to name, because he got 1,000 names and some that we don't know, right? So whatever you want to call it is what you want to call it. I just want to be moved. So when I wake up in the morning, I used to ask for certain things. Now I look in the mirror, and I did today. I look in the mirror and I just say, man, I say, God, do with me as you please.
Come on.
Guide my tongue. Whatever direction you want me to go when I go out this house, I'm gone. Any questioning no more. Just gone.
That's right.
And that's what allows, like brother was saying, how the doors just open up. That's what, man, whatever your will is, let it be done. That's it. Whatever the conversation, whatever this lead, whatever connects we get, because I know you, but I just gained 3 more brothers. Mm-hmm. So whatever he wanted from me, he already gave it to me. So
yeah, the bottom line is we all God-fearing men, and I know it took something greater than myself to lead me to where I'm at, and I had to surrender to that. And that's what it had to come to. So God-fearing men right here. So I want to open this up also to talk about, the past life that we once had to go through to get to where we are today. And unfortunately, and I don't even know if I should even say unfortunately, but it is unfortunate when you are sitting behind bars, for sure. So what is your situation, Pastor Ford, where you can talk about your past, what was going on in your past that hindered you from growing in the past, but also led you to be the great man that you are today?
Choices. I came from a house with a mother and a father in it. Even though they got divorced when I was like 12, that was the beginning of me cutting up because I had to stay at home. Mom and dad wouldn't work that case, and mom kept us clean, cooked dinner every day, and got our clothes together. And they got a divorce, and I saw some things, and my dad said some real hurtful stuff. He said, ain't nobody gonna take you with these kids. And so she had to get out and work. So the crib kind of became like a mini version of the center. I stayed at the house, and people came over to the house, and we was eating cereal all through the day and things like that. And she had got remarried, and married a guy who said he was a minister. He said he was a man of God. And dude started beating on me. And the woman that I love the most for some years, I hate. Now, I hated my dad because my dad jumped on my mom. But the person that I hated, I had to go back and get him to save me from an abusive situation. It was horrible. It was horrible. And I just thank God for bringing me through that, man, because some things that went through my mind at an early age, like, I'm gonna have to kill this dude. But I'm too small to kill him, but I was like, put some bleach in his oatmeal, but bleach too strong. I started thinking things that wasn't normal for a kid. I was like 14, 15 years old, but dude was like just beating on me. I'm like, man, that's crazy. But I'm like, he ain't gonna be bigger than me forever. I'm gonna get him. And so anyway, my grandmama and my mama, I was telling everybody that dudes beat me, they wasn't believing it. So my mama seen it. And so she kind of like just let it happen. I didn't want to tell my dad because I knew my dad was gonna kill him if I told him. But one day I finally had to tell my dad. My dad came over, they got to scrapping, the gun flew out on the floor, and a lot of crazy stuff. But God brought me through all of that, man. And so got a relationship with my mom again, was cool with my dad. My mama steered me to the Lord. My mama got saved and got saved for real. I ran out there in them streets. And what I was in the streets, I want to share this, and it might help somebody.
Yeah, because your name reigned out there in them streets for a long
but
time.
But you know what I was in the streets, man, for all them years? I think I had like a 12-year run. I was the greatest actor this side of Denzel Washington. I wasn't never no killer. I wasn't never no gangster. I knew cats that killed. Some cats, they was with me, and they whatever I did, whatever I wanted them to do, they would do. But I was always kind of like a mediator. I was always like a nice guy, and I was like a dope man with morals, which ain't real. That's not realistic. Me and my guy, we had a falling out because I just wanted to do right and do wrong at the same time. They both don't ride in the same car. And so my guy said one day, he said, JF, man, you might not be cut out for this. You can't have no morals out here. You can't care about nobody. I can't look out for people and everybody else is cutthroat. And that thing stayed with me for years. And so that was the beginning of God pulling me away from the streets. But the story and the end that I have is like nobody else, because I did everything that a person can do to go to prison, but never went. And they never told on nobody to prevent from going. I ran through $1 million, man, out there in the street, and ain't got nothing to show for it but a couple gold teeth because I got undercut playing midnight basketball and I had to get my front fixed.
Right.
And so I left the street with nothing and something at the same time, because what my mama was telling me way back came all the way around full circle. And that's how I'm here today, by the grace of God.
G-Bo, Eugene Gwinn, you did a lot of time. Back in the day, your name was ringing like a cell phone in the streets of Waukegan, Illinois, Chicago area, you name it. Let's talk about it. Like, what did that look like for you?
Man, I guess I could relate to what he said, because a lot of people thought they knew me, but they really didn't know me. You know, I had a degree in engineering before I even went to anywhere. I worked at a nuclear power plant for 7 years, but I was still in them streets. You know, it's like, and that's what really cost me my life and made me go through what I went through, is because I was like, you know, on both sides of the fence. Like, I go to work and I'm dealing with these people, and I come home, I'm dealing with them people. You know, and man, I had a pretty successful life. I was, you know, obviously an entrepreneur, you know that. You know, had a lot of business, had a lot of real estate. You know, like 6 buildings at one time. I was getting like $6,000 a month off of Section 8, you know, but I had a lot of kids, so I would portray to my baby moms that I was like a street guy. Like, a lot of them didn't know that I was working third shift at a nuclear power plant.
Right.
You know, they knew I went to college, but they didn't know, like, you know, it's like, I did that so that I didn't have like child support and, you know, stuff like that. I mean, I really tried to be there for my kids anyway. But it's like, if they think you in the streets, it's like, oh, I can get from him his money, so, you know, we gonna leave it at that. But man, it's really crazy, man, that I feel like, you know, just from coming up with not having nothing, you know, a lot of siblings, you know, you grew up together, you know, being poor, you know, that made me just, you know, become a hustler. And I ended up, you know, being able to, you know, to really get money, man. And shoot, when I left 20 years ago, I had $800,000 cash, you know, and I had to leave it in the streets, man, but I didn't have nobody really prepared to really, like, you know, like, invest it. I didn't know anything about that. But it's like I said, when I went to college, it's like I call prison college. But when I went there, it's like I started studying the things I was doing. Like, you know, I had a beauty supply store, I had a barbershop. I started studying, took custodial maintenance just so I could learn how to, like, clean up the different surfaces in the barbershop that I had. You know, me having real estate, I used to pay people to come and, you know, rehab them. But I took construction so I can do it myself now. You know, I took business management. I was always a businessman, but I never really, you know, took any classes. It's just being out here supply and demand. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that's what I did. But when I went in there, it's like everything. I took a paralegal course, man. I became I got certified as an electrician in there.
Yeah. How much time? How much time did you get the system?
20 years, 6 months, bro.
Straight.
That. From 06 to, from 04 to 24. Yeah, straight. But, you know, the whole time I was there, I got 3 associates. You know, I went, man, it's so crazy is when I went in there, like, I went to the Max joint. You know, I went to Stateville out the gate, and I had a nonviolent drug case. But, you know, I had over 20 years, I had 51 years. So it's like, back then, you weren't getting around it. You're gonna go to the Max joint. But I mean, you know, that's where I came from. So it was okay for me, like, you know, getting in there, you know, with the mobs, and you know how it go. I mean, as long as you willing to get hit in the mouth, you're gonna be all right. It's just if you ain't willing, you not, you know. But I went there, and it's like, I looked around, man, and I'm running into guys that got natural life and 80 years and 75, and I'm, whoa, you know what I'm saying? And something clicked in my mind, bro, and I just looked and I said, man, that's when I found, well, I knew God my whole life, but I really wasn't. Like, when I went there, I really leaned on it.
Right.
But it's like, one day I recall vividly, man, I was in the cell. And, you know, like, I ain't the biggest dude, but I'm tough. Like, I ain't let nobody do nothing to me, you know that. But, you know, I got in there one day, man, and I had like an epiphany, man. It's like, I had this vision, right? I saw all these colors, man. I saw dudes hollering, like someone being raped, someone being beaten. And like, it was like colors, like I could see them. And it's like, you know, God was telling me, like, you know, I was kind of, you know, like, I don't know, man. It's hard to explain, but like in the cells, you know, we from Waukegan. So it was always that thing that they from Chicago, you know, they feel like they play with guns, like we don't got that where we from. But you already know, we come from the same hood y'all come from. So anytime I get in the city, in the cell, one of them cats from the city, and they cross the line, I'm knocking them out. And I was doing that because it was like, you ain't got nobody in here, it's just me and you. You know what I'm saying? So it's any form of disrespect, I'm gonna address it. Line in the sand, you know. But it's like God gave me that vision. And he like, bro, you ain't that tough. These dudes benching, I seen dudes benching so much weight the bars being. I'm outside with these dudes, they benching weight 600 pounds, bro. It's 10 of them. Like, did you know what they could do to me if they want to, bro? We'll grab you and it's over with. You know, so it's like, you know, I got in there, man, and I just, you know, that just humbled me, man. And it made me, you know, but I had already put in my work really. So it's like people like, oh, dude right there, he can get down, leave him alone. That's how people think in jail anyway. If they know you all right, they gonna leave you alone. But it's like I leaned on God, man, and I started pouring into the Bible. I ran into a guy. He worked at he was Minister for Christ, MFC. That's what they called him. He's my first cellie, man. But he introduced me to the Bible, man. He told me what to navigate, what to read, and I just immersed myself in it, man. And it's kind of like that's what led me through it. That's why I can come out like this. Like, I seen a lot of guys, they turn to different things, drugs, taking them psychotropics, that to cope, and through the grace of God, man, I ain't doing but run and keep in good shape, eat good and get through it, man. But it's like I just lived, in there a certain way, and it just, man, he just showed me his power, bro, and that's what I leaned on, and a lot of people don't even know that. But like I would not have came out like I am had I not known God. Amen. Like for real, bro. Like that's what got me through it.
So, JP, you've given the system a lot of time as well. What led you to prison?
My first encounter was I was 14. I got charged as a juvenile. By a school 1,000 feet from a school, a 22 revolver and an 8-ball of what they call straight drops. And they charged me as an adult, my very first time, and had me going to shackle in the county where adults was at. And like I murdered a lot of people, scariest time of my life. But I needed that when I look back now on my journey. Because I started gang banging before I realized it was an organization at 10 years old. I came across a lot of good individuals and a lot of guys that sent me off, And when I left Harrisburg and Little Joliet, when I was 17, I came home and I told, my organization, I'm done. Graduated high school with honors, went to COC, got my associates in business administration, worked at the Galley 535, similar piggyback off Eugene, where guys thinking it was all in the streets. I was working graveyard shift from 5 to 3, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, kind of like his plan. Again, making $14 an hour, but the streets won. So that was my first encounter. And
how much time did you get off of that?
4 years.
4 years in prison.
So then, back then, they made me do 85%. So I did close to 2 years. Gladiating school, seeing all the kind of things he did like that. And had a 10-year run, then went back as an adult, got paralyzed, first time offender as adult. They charged me as an adult, boot camp.
So when you went back as the adult, how much time did you have to get?
4 years.
4 more years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would be a total of time you've done?
Out of 16, 8 years.
8 years. Okay. So you come home from prison and you decided it was time to do something different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll be talking about that breaking point. Alfonzo Spencer, you and I met a while back as well, and I know a lot of your history. Let's talk about what led you to prison.
Myself, me, and I could say that now with sincerity, because it was me. So when I went through I'm gonna go forward real quick and I'm gonna go right back. When I went through boot camp, one of the teachers there, this lady, she was like, "Why y'all so frustrated?" She said, "Y'all, where y'all want to be?"
What was her name?
I can't remember her name.
Gergens.
Yeah, Miss Gerald.
Sherman.
Miss Gerald. And that was so out of boot camp, outside of just the physical activity, that was the only thing that stuck with me on where I wanted to be, the choices that I made. She said, "So why y'all mad at me? I'm just here. I'm just a teacher. Just here. You just happen to be here." Boom. So I go back. For me, my pops left my mom when I was born. And he show up at the house with another son. Like, tell my mom, like, look at my son, which was my older brother. And so me and my mom just kind of like, I don't know what we did. I was young, but she kind of was just, she was my everything that I had. You know, she couple guys here, you know, there. Ran into my younger sister and brother's father. They believe married. You know, he worked like 2-3 jobs. You know, kind of was a disciplinarian, and I was rebellious because like you got my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like these your kids, and I was rebellious because I wanted my father. He never showed up. Like people talk about like window panes. I literally used to sit in the front window and fall asleep in the window pane, and he used to carve my cheek out, waiting on falling asleep in the window because I just wanted to get away. Now he was a drug addict, got hooked on drugs, real bad. So he couldn't be there. So I will never say that. I don't know if he wanted to be there. I know that it had a hold on him to where he couldn't. Right. So we live in the same city. I probably seen him once a year, and that was in the streets. So I decided after a while, like, okay, no, I ain't got nobody to tell me I could be great. I could be this, you could be that, right? But I tell my kids every morning, like, hey man, go be great. I love you. You know, I didn't have that, so I never played sports. I had a grandmother that I don't remember her name. She gave us $20 when RYS was $20. Me and my brother walked to go sign up for football. We signed up. None of our parents even knew. Like, they gave us equipment. We didn't even know what team we was on. That's how uninvolved any male was in my life. That's how uninvolved anybody was. So I turned to what I seen. So, and again, like I turned to my environment, but I don't blame it because I went to the environment. You know what I'm saying? My mom did what she could. I didn't want for nothing in her eyes, but what I wanted, so I run into the guys, and I'm like how Brother Jeff said. I felt like the gang that I chose was a conservative, and I felt like I was always conservative, and I felt like this ain't what I want, but I'm looking for something. So I was like trying to be the good and bad, like the voice of reason, like, and what I learned early, and a lot of people that's from here that know me, because we've crossed paths. So I was able to go in the middle of gang wars on side of towns where people couldn't go, as long as I went by myself, my authentic self. So that's why I always knew that anything other than a man being a man don't matter to me. Just be that. And so I ended up in prison. First time I had 6 years. Took a plea for 3 years. They gave me 6. Got out. It wasn't enough time for me, man. It wasn't enough time. I had to go back. Had to go back again. Got out. Thought it was sweet, you know. Went right back to the same thing again. No guidance. You know, I was young enough to where I'm thinking like, okay, this must be what this about. This cool. This pretty cool. I'm out. They let me out. Then after a while, man, I mean, at the last time, I think that's when I ran into you the second time, 2001, right?
It was 2000. Yeah, because I left before you out of Racine County.
That time right there.
We were in Fox Lake.
Yeah. That time there, I went in different. I went in like, okay, cool. If I ain't gonna have no dad, and I had a son, I said I'm gonna learn how to be the best dad I never had. So I said I ain't going back. You know the saying, whoever been there, they know the saying, you be back, see you get back.
I remember that. All
so
the time.
just so they know, if they still living, I ain't been back and I ain't coming back. Right. So and yeah, man, I got out there, and what I tell people now, I got out and gave myself a chance. Amen. I gave myself a chance. I said if I can go this many years doing bad to myself, let's see how many years I can go doing good to myself. And that's what I did. So it's like, I don't really want to discuss no more. What you said, we not glorifying the time. I want to talk about how much time we do in this free world.
That's right.
Because that's where we can make a difference at, in this free world. Like I know bro getting ready to do. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how I look at that.
Mr. Moore, you've done a significant stretch in prison as well, way back in them days, man.
Yeah.
And I consider you, the elder here, right here. So yeah, what was that experience like for you? How did you end up in a correctional facility and down that path that we are talking about right here now?
In the early 70s, times were survival. It was about hustling. It was about drugs. It was about Funkadelic. It was about Marvin Gaye. It was about just being a part of the milieu of society, driving Cadillacs and having clothes and all of those kind of things. I grew up in that. I had a beautiful mom and dad. I snuck out the house. I was that kid that snuck out the house. When they go to sleep, out the window we go, hang out with, as we say, the freaks come out at night and hang out with the hustlers and players and all those kind of things, And my first incarceration was 12 years old, shoplifting and those kind of things. And eventually from 12 years old, I'm a 5-time convicted felon. So from 12 years old, it went to by 15 years old, I'm on my way to prison with murder charge and armed robbery, going to boys' school. And now this reputation as a killer comes with that, and you have to live up to that in the boys' schools back in those days. So I got challenged by everybody coming in the door. I'm a little dude, but I got hands.
Right.
So taught hands growing up in the street, growing up hard, actually preparing for prison. And everybody I knew had went to prison, so prison was a badge of honor. If you go to prison, everybody came home, you was giving rep and aid and assistant and all those kind of things back in those days. And at the boys' school, had to battle the guy from Milwaukee, like he said, Chicago. Waukegan had to battle Chicago. We had to battle Milwaukee, and any other place. Kenosha had to battle, and you had to show what you could do. So if you didn't have hands or have a reputation, you was gonna get took advantage of.
Right.
And I wasn't gonna get taken advantage of. But all through that, boys' school doing those first, I did 18 years altogether. Did those first 4 years as a boys' school playing basketball, got a scholarship from Marquette and Al McGuire, and everybody came to watch me and see me play. And going home on my last furlough out of boys' school, I started getting high. High on heroin, and no grown man was telling me because my reputation was that of a killer. Yeah, so nobody telling me, young man, you got a rep. You going to Marquette? You're a ball player. You can't be in the street. We gonna whoop your head. I didn't get that. I got embraced on the game and pimping and hustling. So got out of boys' school. That's what I started doing. I started pimping. I started hustling and picking up guns again. Before 2 years, I'm already going back, strung out on drugs, going back to prison, the man prison now, and facing time in the man prison. Did this 2 years here, 3 years here, 4 years here, 5 years, it ended up 18 years. On my last incarceration in 95, facing 40 years. And I got 4 years revocation. So I got a 40-year charge, so I'm facing 40 plus 4. And I just made up my mind. I said, I'm done. But I needed a little bit more because my little daughter, she walked in to RCI, and I write about it in my book. My daughter walks in, she was 12 years old. Last time I had seen her, she was 8. But when she walked in at 12, she had breasts, booty, and looked a nice looking little girl. And she said, Daddy, how come you can't take care of me? And I'm in the joint. And only thing I could give her was, it's pitiful. I'm sorry. I don't know, because my vices and my drug addiction was still so on me that I couldn't even give her a fatherly education on, baby, I'm gonna get this thing turned around, I'm coming home, I'm gonna be able to do this for you now, blah, 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 blah. So as I gave that pitiful, I'm sorry, I went back into the yard. We walk in the yard, me and a couple of other guys, and we're talking about it, and Spirit hit me, and Spirit said, you can't take care of her until you learn to take care of you. And once I learned to take care of me, to this day, I'm first. To this day, I'm first with all my kids, my wife, and everybody else. I take care of what God blessed me with so that I can bless them with it.
On with it, man.
And once I did that, and I made up my mind, the 40 years, I went back to court to fight the 40 years, and the judge told me, he said, I see something different in you. This judge I had been in front of 3 or 4 times, and he sentenced me to prison. He said, I see something different in you. You got anything to say? I said, no, I'm just done. I'm done with whatever. He said, well, what I'm gonna do for you, I'm gonna run that 40 in with that 4. I had already did 3.5 on the 4. So when I got back to Dodge was mad at Kenosha County.
Right.
Kenosha County, Dodge sent me to Thompson, and Thompson sent me out in 6 weeks.
Hey, that's a
So
blessing.
on 40, I did a year.
It's a blessing. But bottom line, we all sitting here, and we probably have a total of over 50 years amongst all of us, if we put it all together, that we gave the system. You know, I was convicted myself in 1995 for manufacturing, delivering controlled substance. I received a 4-year sentence. I was facing 38. Of course, when you are dealing with a system that you don't know nothing about, I didn't know nothing about the laws. You know, I didn't know they could put enhancers on each charge. I had 3 counts of delivery, and they put enhancers on each case. So I'm like, and I didn't have no lawyers. I had a public defender. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. I mean, like I said, I wasn't in the streets preparing. You know, I wasn't stacking up money for businesses or, you know, lawyers and bonds and stuff like that. You know, when you talk about putting first, I didn't put myself first. I put the gang first. You know, I put the block first. You know what I'm saying? I put the streets before my family. And then once I got out of prison, you know, I wanted to do good. I went through the boot camp program as well. I graduated, top of the class, looking good coming out, but within months, and here I am back in that revolving door, man, going back into that prison cell. You know what I'm saying? And it was due to the fact that, you know, I picked up some addictions along the way with the drugs and stuff. So not only was I selling the drug, you know, I was addicted to the whole thing, the money, the drugs, the thrill of getting away with something. And of course, I did have 2 parents in the household. My dad, my biological dad, you know, he was divorced from my mom when I was 3, but I had a father figure in the house, but he wasn't leading me the right way. You know, that was my introduction, hands-on, to the drugs and to the violence and stuff like that. So, you know, if that's on the inside, when I go outside and it's right there in front of my face, to me, that becomes my normal now. Yeah. You know, so of course, you know, we've all sat here and gave the system a lot of time. So of course, we're not making excuses, because we know, as I got a certain age, I knew the word choice that started kicking in. Like, you know you got choices, right? I chose to do those things. You know, I chose to do that because I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be cool. Plus my environment, you know, everybody was used. I hung with older people. I wanted to be with the older guys, and that was my thing, man. It was normal. So, you know, with going to prison, coming home, and all that stuff, it had to be a moment in everybody's lives that's sitting here that you said, you know what? And I know a couple of you shared that already, but what was your breaking point when you said to yourself, I'm about to take my mindset that I have of doing wrong, but I'm finna flip the script and I'm finna do something right with it? What was that breaking point when you knew you was done with the streets?
For me, it was hurting my kids. I got 7 children,
Okay.
1 daughter. Having to lie to them, Daddy, where you at? Oh, I'm in the Army. Daddy, when you coming back? So that was breaking me. Wow. You know what I mean? So my last federal bit, it was like, I'm done, because I still got a 14 and 10 now. It was beyond the female. It was my son's hearts I was breaking from my absence. So that's why it was enough for me. You know, if it wasn't protecting myself or my family, I made a vow to God and myself to be done with the criminal organization. So that's what was for me.
Okay. Spencer, what was your breaking point? Like, you know, of course, it had to be something significant because look where it led you. You know what I'm saying?
So I had 2 breaking points.
Okay.
Remember I said I had a son, so my last bit, my son at the time was coming to visit me for the summer. I stayed right here in the back of this, man, this building got a lot. I stayed right here in the back of this building, this gym, right here on Jacato Drive. It's changed now, but
really?
back here, and I was waiting for him to come that morning. They was probably about 2 hours away. But the SWAT team beat them to my house.
And it hit your door.
While he 2 hours away. I'm gonna get him for the whole summer though. You weren't ready for him for no whole summer, man. Let me get you on up out of here. Got a chance to see him in the glass, but that wasn't the plan. Cause that same day we was supposed to go camping. I ain't never been camping, still ain't never been camping. But that day I was going camping with some people and take my son. So remember when I said that I wanted to be the best dad I never had.
Gotcha.
And I always searched for him. I said my son and my future children will never have to search for me. Whether we're in the same house or not, they ain't got to search for me. They're going to be able to find me. That's one. Now the struggle is real. You understand that, trying to navigate through the world when you get out and you understand that's all you got, which was enough because it kept me out. But I needed more components than that. So I met my wife. This October we've been married 18 years.
Amen.
We have 7 children, 6 boys, 1 daughter, 3 grandsons, 1 grandson on the way. So I wasn't in the streets, but I still partied. Still had advice, my alcoholism, and it was tearing my marriage apart. It was tearing my relationship with my children apart, and I wanted to always be present. But I wasn't even present for myself. You see what I'm saying? So I could never be present. So I know this was on the brink. Marriage, relationship with my kids, they don't want to talk to me about nothing, right? I'm mean and all this stuff. And I just kept going back to the lady, man, you where you want to be, man, but you where you want to be. This marriage finna end because of you. That's what you want. Man, February, either the day before Thanksgiving or the day after, I said, man, I'm done with drinking. And I swear, man, I ain't called no AA counselor. I ain't called nobody. Called upstairs,
Amen.
answered, and 9 years sober to this day. Man,
that's
changed
blessing, my
everything.
brother. Salute.
My wife will tell y'all right now, man, these the best 9 years of our marriage that we had. So I'm 50-50 right now. So going forward, I'm gonna start adding 55%, 45. It's gonna start adding up, right? And then with my children, man, just the same thing. Like, man, my kids, they ain't never known us not to be married. You see what I'm saying? My son went to open up a bank account. They said, "What's your mother's maiden name?" He looked like it's Spencer. They're like, "No, before that." He's like, "I don't know nothing before that." I said, I had to interject, like, "Man, he ain't never seen. He don't know what that means because he done had 2 parents with the same last name since he was born."
Right.
Blessing.
Father I never had, right? And the same with my grandkids, because my father never had his father. So I never had my grandfather neither. So now with my grandsons, now I'm being the best granddad I never had.
That's right.
So mine go 2 ways, bro.
Amen to that. Pastor Ford, so you stated that you've done everything in the streets under the sun to land you in a prison cell. However, you never saw one. But it had to come to a point to where you said to yourself, I'm done hustling, I'm done with the streets. What was that breaking point?
The breaking point was way back in the beginning. You know, God told Jeremiah in the womb, I knew thee. Man, I started having these revelations that what I was doing, I ain't never drank. I ain't never smoked. Ain't never smoked weed. Ain't never put a cigarette to my mouth. You can't tell me God didn't have nothing to do with that. I couldn't explain it, but I just never did it. My dad never sat me down and talked about the birds and the bees. I learned all the game from the street. I became one of the greatest whoremongers. I don't think nobody slept with more women than me but Will Chamberlain. But I wasn't taught that. It was just the lifestyle that I picked up, but it was just some things that I never did. And so I was about to have little Johnny. My mama was always pressing me. Like I said, I started seeing stuff and stuff just wasn't feeling right. I'm like, man, I got to move around. It was a bad year in Racine, man. I think it was 26 homicides. And they came through, and my mama had a cousin out in Las Vegas. We went out there, and my mama was kind of like trying to drop me off. But I was a mama's boy. I ain't going nowhere. Mama ain't there, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I had a cousin out there. He had a construction company. He was a millionaire way back then. And he was like, cuz, he said, let you come out here. He said, I'll hire you. I'll let you stay with me for 6 months till you get on your feet. I'm like, all right, man. I think about it. Never mind, I'm going back to Racine. You know what I'm saying? I'm not staying out in Vegas. I don't know. I just met y'all. So, but I was in the shower. My mom was knocking on the door. I said, Mom, in the shower, I'll be out in a few minutes. She came back, she knocked on the door again, and she just came in. I'm like, Mom, what is you doing? Baby and my ex-wife, Belly. And my mama said the craziest thing. She said, son, she said, you go to prison, your son gonna be calling somebody else daddy. I'm like, man, get out of here with that. What is you talking about? I was madder than the mug. I said, Mom, can you at least wait till I get out the shower? She said, you heard what I said? I said, all right, Mom. I said, go on, let me finish taking my shower. And them words burnt like the brand that they use on the cows. I was in there and and that was my mama, and it infuriated me so much. If it had like been a cat in the street, I'd have hit him in the mouth. That's how mad I was. You talking about my son calling somebody else daddy. So I got out, got my stuff together. I said, Mom, she said, God said He's not gonna keep giving you a chance off the prayers that I'm praying for you. She said, somewhere out there, you're gonna have to make your mind up because God gonna quit playing with you. And I'm like, all right. And so I still stayed in the streets, but every day it was harder to sell them drugs, to go to the gambling house, to do all of that stuff I was doing. Like I said, man, I was an actor. I was out there pretending. And cats, I had a lot of respect in the streets, but I didn't respect myself because I knew I was faking. They didn't know I was faking. I had to pretend to help jump on cats, man. I grew up with this dude, man, but these new dudes I started hanging around with, man, so I stopped doing that. And so one day we had an argument. They're like, man, you a punk, man. We jumped on dude. I said, I should have jumped on y'all. I said, I went to kindergarten with him. It was 13 of y'all. I said, I should have been helping him. And so things just started. They was like, man, Jeff, you tripping. No, I'm not tripping, man. It's something going on within my body that I don't even understand what's happening right now. And so still riding, trying to figure it out. You know, cassette tapes was out, the CDs hadn't came out yet. Right. And so NWA came out. That's really kind of like was the beginning of messing up the culture. Because in New York, just rap. But now they talking about F the police, so we ride past the police, we flipping them off, we doing all this old stuff. But every now and then, I had a commission. I don't know if y'all know who Commission is, a gospel group. And I would pull NWA out, and I would put the commission tape in the cassette. They'd be like, man, what is you doing? I'm like, man, I just want to hear it. But I wasn't out the streets, but I was on my way. God was pulling on me. And that was the breaking point, man, when I really got to the point where I lost the desire to hustle. I started seeing cats getting gunned down. I started seeing cats getting sent to the joint. And I was never, I tell anybody, I was never cut for prison. I like women too much. I like getting up when I wanted to and going to bed. And so when they started really talking about the aspect of prison, man, I sat at the crib one day, man, I was like, I can't do no time. Right. I was just real. I was real with myself. Now, you know, you out with all the guys, man, y'all talking that, you know, because it was a part in the process of the streets where it was like, you wasn't a real cat if you didn't get no bit. So I was like thinking that, but that was the thinking of the devil. I had to get some time to solidify who I was in the streets. Man, that's the craziest thing ever. The craziest thing ever. But that's the mentality that come with the street. And so I said, man, I can't do no time. And I can't snitch on none of my guys if it's not my stuff. I can't tell on somebody to roll over on somebody because I got caught. And so I said, God, if you give me another way, I'll take it. And here I am.
Amen to that. Mr. Boi, you had a breaking point because you come a long way.
Yeah.
What was that breaking point?
As you said, I had a couple that was, I've been shot 9 times, so. And dealing with the battles and the war in the streets from the game. That was my coming to. I'm coming to. This is getting to. And I never took a bullet for me. I always took bullets for everybody else. For being in family members. I ain't gonna let you jump on them, this, that, and the other. And I had, as I said, I had a reputation as a killer. So even in the street, people would think that that's what my intentions. When I'm walking up on them, they shooting before I shoot.
Right.
I didn't, I had that reputation. So, and as I kept growing, to have my daughter go through what she went through was the tipping point. I was going back to prison within 3 incarcerations in a row. I went back to prison. I had new cases within 45 days of just getting off 3 or 4 years. And I'm going back to prison already on revocation. And I'm coming to, this is getting too hard. It's getting too hard. As you said, he called me Triple OG. People start calling you Pops and people start calling you Unc and all of those kind of things. And you get to that point where you just say, you know what? I got to do something. For me, being the best version of myself, I knew down inside that there was something greater in me than the hustler, killer person I was. I knew it was. And it seemed like it kept calling me every time I was in prison because I'm writing letters for everybody. I'm doing their lawyer stuff for everybody. I never had a ticket. I did 18 years. I never had a ticket in prison. I never had a ticket.
Model prisoner.
Yeah, never had a ticket. From boys' school all the way to and anybody who's been in prison know that they give you tickets just on GP.
Yeah.
And I would just had that kind of effect on people in the joint. That they never just did that. And I was coming to, and I always read the Bible, and it just seemed like everything just came to, and every time I have ever called on God of my understanding, He has always delivered. He has never, ever, 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 ever let me down. It's me, I walk away.
Right.
I get absent-minded from what I was, and when I get in trouble, like there have been times I had shot in people's house, man. I found God in the boys' school. I'm on the street, in jail. They let me out on bond. I goes up to the jail, Wells School for Boys. They let me back in. I goes into the chapel and I pray. I get back. The guy who I was shooting at in his house recanted the story. And they dropped the case. And I had just got off the murder case. So I'm finna get a lot of time. But they recanted. And God has always gave me special situations like that I've been, like I said, I've been shot 9 times. I've been shot from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet, and I ain't dead. I got brothers that's been shot once in the stomach with a 25 automatic and dead. I lost many folks around me, and God has allowed me to endure those things to come to say, look, I got a message. You got a message I want you to give. I'm calling you.
Being called.
Yeah.
Answered that call.
Man, y'all really making me think, man. It's like, like you said, the point. I had a lot of time, like having daughters. Like my judge told me that, having daughters and kids, man, it still to make you do the right thing. And I thought I was doing the right thing, being in the street hustling, buying them everything they want. So, I didn't look at it like that should change me. Like he said, I've been shot up to, I beat a murder. I was in the county facing the death penalty. You know what I'm saying? In 95, I wasn't scared of nothing because, you know, I mean, I knew it was going to be all right, you know, and through the grace of God, it was all right. And, you know, that didn't teach me nothing, man. I had like 15 aggravated batteries in my past. When my judge sentenced me to 51 years, I was facing 300 years.
Wow.
He said, I highly doubt that you were acquitted of a murder and you have over 15 aggravated batteries in your past and you never did one. You know, and I'm like, you know, even though none of that is evidence, but he used that to justify doing what he did to me. And I'm just saying, when I got in prison, like I told you about the epiphany, that's when it hit me. I just wanted to say that. It's like I got in there and I was like, bro, you messed up. Like, you know, I'm looking around like these cats, I mean, I'm just saying, I feel like I shouldn't even be here. And I'm in here with you and I'm talking to cats, man, I got natural life. You know, dude in the chapel, he a preacher. He said, man, I've been here 37 years. I ain't never going home. And I seen him on TV. He out. He was doing a little ministry, mentoring and stuff. And I'm like, wow. But my point is, I got in there and I looked and I said, bro, it's real. Like, you know, all that street stuff, bro, I don't want none of that right now. I want to go home and be with my kids. You know, I want to go home, lay up with a woman. All you goofy niggas, I don't want to be around y'all, but, you know, what could I do? It's like, I'm a hard head. I didn't learn, you know, and I had so much money being so young, I buy my way out of everything. So even when I had the body, I spent money and I knew, you know, I had the best lawyer. I came out of it. But at the same time, it's like, that's what it took, man, is when I actually got in prison and I started, you know, I had those epiphanies, man, and I started looking at these cats, bro. Like, you know, see people broken. You know, you look in their eyes, bro, and you see ain't nobody home, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, man, just living with a broken heart. Like, I don't want that. You know, and I just said, man, God, I got to do different. That's why I immersed myself in all the things I did, bro, was to like, you know, like, it's like I made a wager with God. Like when I came home, I said, man, take care of me. You know, while I was gone, everybody spent my bread up. You already know that. Yeah. Like everybody, you know, doing whatever they wanted to do. I done sent people to college. They done bought new vehicles and houses and condos and everything off me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I ain't getting nothing for it. But, you know, I came home and I asked God to take care of me. I said, man, you know, I got all those skills in there, man. Give me a job. Make sure I can take care of myself, and I'm gonna do that. Yeah. I can still go to church every Sunday. Yeah. You know, like I'm probably not doing as much as I could because I work 70 hours a week. You know, but I mean, he's taking care of me. Yeah. You know, I got my own place, you know, my own vehicle. I don't need to ask nobody for nothing. I'm okay. Amen. You know, and that's and I guess being in there was my breaking point though, bro. Like really looking around and seeing what's really going on, man. It's ugly.
Cause you don't realize, man, you don't miss something until it's not there anymore. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know, my breaking point was I was just tired of being sick and tired, man. Just that in and out, expecting the same results. What they call that, Mr. Moore? Insanity. So I knew, man, you know, God touched my heart some type of way, man, because like I said, it got me sitting here with y'all today. You are most grateful for, if you can give me a word, what are you most grateful for, or who? Who would that be?
I'm most grateful for a couple of things: life, wealth, and health.
Life, wealth, and health.
A mother that told me about Jesus.
Being able to find myself.
Finding God, man. Peace of mind, good health, sanity, life.
Being a servant.
Being a servant. I'm grateful for what I had to go through to become the man that I am today. You know, before we wrap this up, there's a lot of people that's going to be watching this, a lot of different generations, especially ours. You know, we still got, you know, we want to reach people, man. That's what this is about. We want to reach people, man, that are going through the same things that we went through. And although we may be where we are, we still got to learn how to maintain to keep what we got today. You know what I'm saying? So this is not to, you know, I heard this from this guy named Dr. Woods in a conference I was in, and he said, never teach with your head down. You know, so anybody that's going to be watching this, you know, just know these conversations that we are having is our own personal experiences, and it's out of love to encourage somebody else. What would you leave as words of encouragement to the generations that are watching this today? How can we encourage them? What would you say to the person that's going to hear your voice right now?
I don't want to go all spiritual, but I am. Keep the faith, man. Manifest your dreams and never give up and keep the faith.
Find that one person that believes in you. Because you can run around the world with a whole lot of folk telling you you ain't gonna never be nothing, you ain't gonna be this, you ain't gonna be that, but that one person that believes in you. So when the world is telling you that you gonna be nothing, you always have to remember that God created us all to be something.
Facts.
I would say that discipline, if you put it on a scale, it weighs ounces. Regret, if you put it on a scale, it weighs a ton. And like the brother said, don't let anyone kill your dreams. In the words of Les Brown, if you want to kill them, you tell them to a small-minded individual. It took me 47 years to get here. So it's a lifelong journey. Ask for guidance along the way. Find people that are like-minded and likewise, that'll pull you in the right direction, confront you when you're doing wrong, and praise you when you're doing right. Small wins, big wins, and that's how you grow.
Hey, just think about what you're doing, man. When you finna do anything, plotting stuff in your mind, I'm just saying, anything, any move you finna bust, man. You moving how you moving through life, man. Just take a second to think, because, I mean, it take 1 second to make a decision that in your life, and you'll be gone for 20 years, and you won't even really understand nothing that's finna happen to you until you get there. And when they send you to that time, they mean it. Like, I had no, in my mind, I never even fathomed doing 2 decades behind bars. Bro, you know I'm a good dude, I thought. Mm-hmm. I never thought I'd do 2 decades behind bars, man. I wasn't even moving like that. You know, I don't do nothing to nobody unless they do something to me. I'm not out here malicious, none of that. But just think about what you're doing. In that 1 second, man, like, just think about it, like, because, you know, it's consequences and repercussions to everything you do in life, man. I feel like if you do good, you put it out there good, you're going to get good back, bro.
Yes.
So, you know, karma is real, too. But just think about what you're doing.
Stop and think.
Stop and think for that second, man. Change your life.
Yeah. Ask for help early and often. Don't care what age you are, who you are. If you want to go to another level, you always ask that person that is leveling up for some help. Mm-hmm. And generally, most people that you ask for help is willing to give it because that's how they keep it.
Thank you for tuning in to my first episode of Life After Prison. Unfortunately, we experienced some technical difficulties while filming the first episode. But as you can see, these men, including myself, was able to overcome many trials and tribulations through faith, which manifested to true purpose. Again, thank you for tuning in, and be on the lookout for Life After Prison Part 2. And remember, it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. Shout out to Alfonzo Spencer, owner of Flex Gym in Racine, Wisconsin, for allowing us to utilize your space for this amazing segment. Special thanks to my team Omac, Renegade Entertainment, and iChampion Health. Thank you for your support. And remember, we are living proof that change is possible and real. I'm your host, Gio Gibson. Until the next time, God bless.
Yeah. Boi, winner. Yeah. I was born to win. 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 And if you feeling like I do, let me hear you say it again. Everything I earned, you know I got it out the mud. I was that diamond in the rough, growing up in the hood. I came from poverty, negativity, always surrounding me. Big things, having things, no, that didn't apply to me. A born sinner, never knew I was a born winner. My environment turned me to a go-getter. Some of y'all won't relate, but I'm about to demonstrate. I'm just trying to show some love while you out here pushing hate. See, my pain was preparation. The drugs, the streets, it broke my concentration with no way out.